Is it human catching fish, or fish catching human? This old man was dragged and slid by a 2-meter-long arapaima, but he refused to let go and continued to pull the fishing rod until he finally dived into the water and slid 5 meters. Some people can catch fish desperately, but fish also will run desperately. In the end, the arapaima directly slapped his face and turned away, but in the process of chasing, the uncle was actually hit in the forehead by another big fish. Blair, the fishing king in the village, picked up the throwing net and threw it underwater as soon as he arrived at the river, pulling the rope to slowly tighten the net. He is sure that if the net goes down, more than 20 fish will be salvaged and brought ashore. At this time, the fishing net just reached the water surface, and there was a large splash of water, and the entire fishing net was covered with it at once. All of them were pomfret, and there must be at least about 20 fish in it. The weight of each fish is not too small. Blair wanted more fish and continued to cast the net. All the fish that just emerged from the water were pushed down by the net. It seemed that he was pulling the net so slowly. That is to use all his strength to lift it up. If he was not careful, he may be dragged into the water by the fish. When he pulled the fish out of the water, they were full of big fish. The lightest one weighed at least 3 pounds. What a great fishing resource. And they were still not satisfied. At this time, they went directly into the water to fish. The water in the river became more turbid as the net was slowly pulled up. Every time they pull a distance, several fish come up one after another, and Blair immediately pulls a fishboat to store the freshly caught fish. The 3 of them began to pick up the big fish in the fishing net and put them into the cabin. No matter how the fish jumped, they could not jump out of the cabin, and they filled most of the cabin in a while. In the fishing net, half of the fish were not picked up on the boat. At this time, the 3 of them were very calm and did not show excitement. It seems that they get used to it. Although some fish escaped occasionally, they didn't take it seriously. In this way, the entire cabin has been fully stored. By the way, the fish on the shore are also loaded onto the boat. Not satisfied with only catching small fish, the uncle actually slipped into the river and caught a big fish. Only one bamboo pole is needed to turn the arapaima around, but there is a sudden tumbling in the water, pulling the fishing pole directly into an arch, and it feels like it is about to break. Immediately, he became a fish slipper, was pulling and sliding in the water. He kept trying to pick it up, but unfortunately, his strength was not enough. Its body was larger than a human being. Even a young man was not easy to deal with, and he was directly pulled by the arapaima to run. It can't get rid of the fishhook on its mouth, only to take the uncle to circle in the water, and even press it to slide in the water. When he came to the surface, the uncle was already out of breath. When he wanted to take it down again, the arapaima swung its tail again, got rid of the old man, breaking free from the fishing rod and escape. He picked up the broken fishing rod and groped in the direction, and as soon as he touched the tail of the fish, there was a large splash of water. Going back and forth like this, they were back to the original position, and the uncle still refused to give up. He swung into the pile of aquatic plants. Suddenly, another arapaima was so frightened that it hit the uncle's forehead directly. At this time, his head was buzzing with pain. This fish is really hard to catch. There was no other way but to let Blair get on, but this time, aroused the fierce resistance of the arapaima, dragging him 5 meters away, dragging the fishing rod and swimming away again. Bagley only saw the fishing rod on the water, showing a spot, swam to a place 10 meters away and hid. When he grabbed the fishing rod again, Blair was suddenly lifted by it, and the river was swayed by huge waves. Because the speed was too fast, the fishing rod could not be grasped steadily, and the target was lost again at this time. Even the young Blair felt tired. After swimming for 10 meters, he grabbed the fishing rod again, and lifted the fish up with force. Suddenly, the fish turned over and broke the fishing rod. Not to be outdone, Blair took advantage of the chaos to hug it, and the startled arapaima dragged him and swam several meters away. However, after consuming physical strength for a long time, the fish was very tired and turned its belly to the surface. Blair immediately picked it up and refused to let go. At this time, the big fish directly pressed him under the water, but it didn't last long, and the arapaima finally surrendered. Blair also used all his strength to carry it. Walking through the turbid river water, he could see a 2-meter-long arapaima that weighed 100 kilograms, completely surfaced. In the end, it took a lot of hardships to catch it ashore. Well, today's video is here. Subscribe me and show you a different world.